What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Valente, and we're back with a brand new episode of Behind Enemy Lines, the series where I, a Saints fan, talk to fans of the Saints' opponent this week. And we're facing the Giants this week, so I got my guy Djax. So, how you doing, bro?
I'm well, man. Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
So, Tommy DeVito. I like to usually gauge interest about before we get into anything. Tommy DeVito, how do you feel about him?
He's a guy. He's Italian. I don't know. He's fine.
Tommy Cutlets.
He's exactly okay. I think he is not the best. I'm sorry. Give me 1 second. I think my dog's getting into something.
I guess while we wait for him, I'll talk about the Saints side of things. Came off a pretty impressive win in terms of points scored. It didn't look good throughout the entire game. 28-6, I think the final score was. So, we kind of picked things up through the end. Derek Carr had a game. I was talking about the Saints-Panthers game. But Tommy DeVito, how do you feel about him? 3-game win streak.
I knew the Giants were going to get some fake wins to push us out of the Drake May sweepstakes. I mean, he's okay. I think he's better than Daniel Jones, but doesn't make him that good.
Do you think that they would start him over Daniel Jones, considering everything like contract and pretty much anything?
Probably not. I mean, it's hard to pay a guy $40-something million a year and bench him for an undrafted rookie. But I mean, if he continues to win games, they're gonna kind of have to. It might be like a Brock Purdy situation, except for he's not as good as Brock Purdy. So, I don't know. The Giants, at least last year, got tricked by a bad quarterback winning game. So I wouldn't be surprised if that would happen again with Tommy DeVito.
Yeah, I feel the same way about Derek Carr. We're in the same situation in terms of quarterback contracts not looking so good, but do you think Brian DeBole's a problem?
No, I think he's one of the best coaches, like best 8, 9, 10 coaches in the league, maybe. It's definitely not on him. I mean, you can only do as much as you can do. It's hard when your quarterback is taking as many sacks as he is and doesn't know how to throw the ball away or doesn't know how to alleviate pressure and creates pressure on itself. And his O-line's also not good. And we don't have a number one receiver. And, it's just hard. Like, we're not a good roster. We're not a great roster. I mean, what he did last year was phenomenal, making that team get like nine wins and playoff win. Like,
yeah,
that should have happened. So, like, us being bad this year. Yeah, us being bad this year is like, what honestly like should have been
kind of expected.
Yeah,
I feel the same way. I got into the hype early season where you see brand new quarterback coming in, $150 million contract, and you think everything's all good and shiny until the season started. He looked rough to start. I thought it was new team, new system, getting acclimated. And then it just kept continuing, and now we're here, and we're still talking about how the offense needs to be better, and I don't think it's gonna. So, moving on to our game preview side of things. What's the keys to victory for the Giants in your eyes?
I mean, on our 3-game win streak, we've created, I think, 3 turnovers a game. That was probably the biggest thing. If we can turn the ball over, if we can run the ball well. Saquon has had 2 touchdowns in each of the past 3 wins that we've had. Each of the past 3 wins we've had. So if we run the ball, utilize our playmakers, utilize Wandale like we did last week, have Hyatt more as a deep route guy, take a couple shots even if those aren't completed, have him on the field and have him there at least as a distraction, as a threat. And Tommy DeVito not making mistakes, I think, is the main thing. So turnovers on defense. I think our defense has been playing pretty well almost the entire season for the most part. Even the games where we let up 40-something points, it was like kickoff or field goal block for a touchdown, and was like offense creating turnovers in the red zone. And like, I think we have a pretty solid defense. There's definitely holes, but especially with, is Jameis starting this week? I think he's starting, right?
No, Derek started.
Oh, he's back. I thought he was
Sadly,
hurt.
no. So Derek has like 3 rib fractures that he played through last week.
Oh,
So
I didn't
I
watch the
mean,
Saints
he's
Panthers game. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah. I wouldn't either. If I wasn't a Saints fan, I wouldn't. But he had like 3 rib fractures. His like second concussion in like 3 games. The week before against I can't remember who it was.
Yeah, I remember he got
The
folded.
Lions.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Lions. That's what it was. And they still decided to start him the week after, which I think was a terrible decision. Even though we got the win, but
Well, I
yeah, I
think
think
it
the
might be high IQ because it's like, oh, if he gets another concussion and has to medically retire, that's money off the cap space, right?
I wouldn't put it past the Saints to do that because they did that to Delvin Breaux, so they've done that to him. They I wouldn't say his contract was that big, but they keep putting him on the field despite how injured he got, so I wouldn't put it past them. But I think our keys to victory would be getting the ball to Alvin Kamara and Taysom Hill as much as possible. Chris Olave is currently doubtful, I think, or game time decision. Rashid Shaheed's back, so you can make plays with him. But getting the ball in Alvin Kamara and Taysom Hill's hands is key any week, regardless. Taysom Hill in short yardage situations is probably the most unstoppable thing in the entire league. It's became a little bit more stoppable, but still very effective. Defensively, I just wish our run defense could actually do something.
Yeah.
And as long as our run defense can't do anything, especially with going against a guy like Saquon, Saquon's playing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. See, usually it's a question whether Saquon's playing because
He's
of
been
the
healthy
past
these past
injury.
couple weeks, so
So, getting getting a good run defense median established early, often. I think the game we can control the pace in our favor. Hopefully, yeah, that's what I got for that. Um, Actually, since we're on the topic of injuries, I'm gonna pull up the injury report here. Let's see. All right, pull up the injury report here, and bang. See that good? All right, cool. So we're gonna look at both sides
Mhm.
for the injury report. Isaiah Foskey out. Kendra Miller ankle out. Chris Olave questionable, which is a game time decision. Uh, Taysom playing, Cam playing, and then Rashid Shaheed playing. All very key for us. Ryan Ramchek's questionable, which is another key injury. Jamal Williams questionable, could be key. I really haven't seen too much out of him all season. And then Peyton Turner is out, which he was on IR. He's coming back and missing this week. And then on to the Giants side, we got Dexter Lawrence questionable, Evan Neal doubtful, Darren Waller questionable, who's coming back from IR, and Justin Pugh questionable. So, is there anything there that stands out to you?
I mean, Dexter Lawrence played last week. I expect him to play. I didn't expect Darren Waller to come back this week. Justin Pugh stinks, so I don't care if he plays or not. Other people I saw there, Flat is also not the best. I mean, like the only impact player really there was Dexter Lawrence, and like I said, he did play last week coming off an injury, so I expect him to play this week too. I don't even know why he's listed as questionable, really. And he just changes our entire defense. So if he's not there, which like super unlikely in my opinion, it's definitely a huge blow. But I expect him to play, and if Waller plays, that's a plus, but that's not expected.
Yeah, I was about to say a Darren Waller legacy game against a Derek Carr led team would be my worst nightmare. Also, Evan Neal's not good, is he? Because I see a lot of Giants fans just
No, he hasn't been good
not.
this year. He hasn't played
Yeah,
in a number of weeks, so that's another one I don't expect him to play this week. But yeah, he hasn't been very good this year. But really, no one besides Andrew Thomas and I mean John Michael Smith sometimes has been pretty good. I like Ben Brereton decent amount how he's been playing this year, but for most part, Giants' offensive line is stinks. And I would say it's more of a coaching problem than like a player problem. Like I think Evan Neal with a different coach um, can be pretty solid, or at least if he moves the guard, he'll be pretty solid in my opinion. So
I felt the same way about Trevor Penning. I just think he's too big to play tackle and too slow. Um, but on our side of the ball, I believe Ryan Ramczyk, without a doubt, is probably the most key to for us. If he doesn't play, Kayvon Thibodeau is having a field day, 3 sacks minimum. Like that's where the offensive line collapses because you either trot out. Let's see, who do we trot out at right tackle? It'd either be Cesar Ruiz, who's playing out of position, or Max Garcia, who's arguably one of the worst blockers in football, off of like the 10 snaps he's played. So if Ryan Ramczyk's gone, that changes the entire aspect of the game for us. Same with Olave because our pass attack isn't going to be a big threat. And I feel like I'm not giving enough credit to Rashid Shaheed because he is the big play threat, but with him being the only other pass catcher on the field is going to make it hard for him to get some good open looks. So Rashid Shaheed's not supposed to be your number one receiver, and I just don't think him being put in a number one receiver spot would be any good for him. So that's that. And moving on, we talk about breakout candidates. Is there anybody that you think for the Giants that has a chance to have a breakout game, or it's really hard to predict later in the season? So I guess I'll say better than expected.
yeah, I mean, Deontay Banks plays in a style where like he's been playing pretty good this past couple weeks, but it's very high risk, high reward with really all the corners in the wing system. But if Olave's not there, I can see him having a really good game because there's not many people that could threaten him over the top besides Rashid Shaheed. But um, I can see him having a really big game, and he's someone that could be a ball hawk. And Derek Carr likes to turn over the ball. So so I like Deontay Banks a lot this game to do pretty well to continue on his high that he's had this the whole rookie season. He's been pretty good. I would say on the offensive side of the ball, Wandale did really good last week, and I think there's like each week there's going to be one of our like pretty good receivers doing pretty well. If we're going to win, I should say, if we're going to have a decent passing offense, we're going to have to rely on our receivers, obviously. So I think thinking about the Saints secondary, I mean, Lattimore's there.
No, he's out. He's IR.
I forgot. Well, in that case, I don't know if there's anyone that can keep up with Hyatt's speed. So I think he could have.
Does he play in the slot a lot?
No, I mean, kind of. I mean, when Wandale's out there, he has to play slot. Well, we kind of rotated a lot. I would say he probably plays like 25% of his snaps on this slot. But I mean, is Paulson Debo is playing, right? He's not hurt.
Yeah, Adebo's outside, and he's not really the guy that would keep up with Jalen Hyatt.
Yeah, I
I'd
was
say
gonna say
Alontae
he's
Taylor's
gonna
more.
get. I was gonna say if Debo's on him, he's gonna get cooked. I remember him being slow in college.
Yeah,
Alontae Taylor, he's
it
all right. I
it's
think.
it's all based on for me with the Debo. It's all based on if the QB fucks up. If Tommy DeVito makes any wrong move, Adebo's going to capitalize on that. That's what he's best at. So if Tommy DeVito underthrows Jalen Hyatt, or if he throws too far inside, or whatever it may be, Adebo's going to capitalize on that. However, if everything goes right, and Debo's getting fucked. But if Jalen Hyatt's in the slot, I would say Alante is probably our fastest corner on the team, or like no matter who's there. So I think in the slot, it might be a little bit harder for Jalen Hyatt to have success, but on the outside, I could definitely see that. And
Yeah,
Wandale Robinson having a good game is something I would never want to see because I'm the biggest Kentucky hater ever. But
that's fair.
for me, I'm gonna have to say offensive side of the ball. It's a bit easier to pick because everybody or people who are gonna play aren't really too productive. When all of our big three are there, so I'm just gonna open up with either A.T. Perry or Lynn Bowden because if Chris Olave doesn't play, that automatically makes A.T. Perry the number 2, which also makes Lynn Bowden the number 3. And whenever Lynn Bowden's on the field, you, especially in these situations, you can't tell if it's going to be a run play or a pass play, um, considering who we're trotting out there. So usually Lynn Bowden's in on runs whenever everyone's playing. He's usually in there during run plays. He's really good at blocking, and that's almost that. I don't want to admit Lynn Bowden's good at anything. He's another Kentucky player. Um, so it could be Lynn Bowden depending on, um, I guess, the mystery behind him being on the field, whether it be pass play or run play, because of how thin we are at receiver right now. And A.T. Perry, just because when given the opportunity, he's done really well, and he's going to have his share of snaps this game for sure. So
Yeah,
A.T. Perry is probably more likely than Lynn Bowden, so I'm going to go with A.T. Perry. Now, defensively, I'm just going to say it every week till it happens. It's going to be Pete Werner. Pete Werner is the only person on our defense that knows how to properly tackle somebody. Like good old school wrap up tackle. It's perfect. It's textbook everything. But he's the best run stopper on our team, and I think if we have any success in stopping the run, it's going to go through Pete Werner. And with that, just got a couple more. We're going to talk about dream scenarios. So if everything goes perfect, what does that look like?
like in this game or like for us this
Yeah,
season.
in the game.
Um,
In the game.
I don't know. I don't know if I want to win this game or not. At this point, I might like. I think dream scenario is our young players playing well. So that's like Wandale continuing to play well, Jalen Hyatt continuing to be a deep threat, like Banks, Thibodeau, Aziz is back. So if he stays healthy, gets some pressures. Our linebackers continuing to play well. I mean, just like the guys that like we care about for the future playing well. And whether that results in a win or a close loss, I don't know how to feel at this point in the season, considering we're 5-8 and we're the 8th pick right now, and we don't really have a shot to make the playoffs, but we're only one game back, so there's still a chance. But we play the Eagles twice, so it doesn't really matter that much.
Yeah.
So I mean, best case scenario, I don't care about the result that much. I just care about my young players developing and continuing to play well. And the offensive line, like looking better than it has been. And hopefully some progression out of John Michael Schmitz. And like another standout offensive lineman, hopefully coming up. So someone that like we can rely on as at least a rotational guy next year.
I feel the same way about the result of the game. Like, unless it's like a blowout loss, I feel like I would be okay with no matter what the result is, because I'm not sure if I'm ready for a world where we win the division, have a first place schedule, get blown out in the playoffs, and look forward to next year when we're facing the first place winner of the NFC West, the winner of the AFC North, and the NFC North too. So I don't think I'm ready for that. So the result, not really a problem for me. I'd really like if um, Rashid Shaheed continues to do his thing so he can earn his bag, because I think this is his last year with us because undrafted free agent. I think this is his contract year, I guess. I hope Olave plays. I hope Olave gets a nice 80-yard game so he can hit 1,000 yards in the season. And if if a loss is coming, if this is it wouldn't be the end of our season, but if this is what's looking like the end of our season, at least give me some hope with Derek Carr. Let me think that he's going to be good next season. I want something to hope, for. And if he goes out and completely shits the bed, I guess, then hopefully we get a top draft pick, and Jaden Daniels is the same. But I'm gonna try and stick to the game. So I just want Olave to get a nice game. Hopefully he can go over 1,000. I want Derek to at least look semi decent. I want the coaching, which is probably almost damn near impossible. I want the coaching to look somewhat decent, so that way, if we do make the playoffs, we might have a chance against whoever the 5 seed is. I hope it's not the Cowboys. Um, yeah, I hope Taysom Hill gets his carries too. Defensively, I hope Adebo gets a pick. Man, I'm really striving for an Adebo picks in my agenda still. You know, still rides, but yeah. So we talked about dream scenario. Everything goes right. What does it look like if everything goes wrong? What's the nightmare scenario?
Um, hmm. I think our secondary getting cooked, um, and not getting a lot of pressure from our edges, I think is at least on defense would be something that would be I would consider a nightmare scenario. Considering our defense has been playing well these past most of the season, us getting torched by the Saints would not give me a
Hmm,
lot of hope for the future for the defense.
I feel that. I feel that.
And on offense, it's just like having another stinker. Um, just like not being able to move the ball, not taking deep shots, not creating any explosive plays, and our O line just letting up so much pressure. And Tommy DeVito, like on his Daniel Jones type beat of just allowing pressure to come into him, not throwing the ball away, not scrambling, just bad pocket movement, turning into pressures in the sacks pretty easily. So yeah, nightmare scenarios. We get sacked a lot and we don't get a lot of sacks, and our defense gets torched by the receivers.
I feel that. Mine's kind of the same because um, I feel like our pass defense can hold up against anybody without Lattimore. I like to think that our pass defense has done well. Isaac Adam has done surprisingly well. I don't like to use PFF as like a metric of um, ranking someone's play, but uh, Isaac Adam was like the number one ranked corner on PFF in week 3 or whatever, and he had like 7 pass breakups this past week. But I'm kind of yapping about that. But I hope that I've completely forgot what I was saying. Okay, hold on. Nightmare scenario. Keeping it simple, I guess. If we cannot even move the ball, so usually we're so good at moving the ball, we get to the red zone, everything falls flat there. If we get to the point where we can't move the ball at all, 3 and outs on every drive, it's just punts back and forth. That's going to be hell for the offense because I think over the past 2-3 weeks we've been doing good, getting to the red zone, executing in the red zone, you know, and I feel like everything's reverting back. Um, Also, nightmare scenario: we lose this game, and Dennis Allen still has a job. Um, Also, not throwing deep shots like you mentioned to one of the best, I guess you could say, deep threats in the entire NFL, or one of the more underrated ones, if you will. Rashid Shaheed is it's it's wrong if you're not drawing him up anything. especially with how how good he is at it. And you're not using Taysom when you need to be. You're not opening the playbook. I guess it's it just looks bad. If everything falls flat like that, I just want to blow it up. Every time we lose, I want to blow it up. But yeah, I felt like I was yapping there for a minute. I'm not gonna lie. Like I lost my train of thought, so I was trying to like catch it while talking. But
I got you.
um, last thing, I don't know if you're into betting, but usually what I like to do is do score predictions based off of spread and stuff
Yeah.
and over under. So according to ESPN Bet, the Saints are favored by 5.5, with the over under being 39.5. So I guess what's your final score prediction? Do they cover or not?
Um, well, actually, I do bet a little bit. So I look at the spread on this game specifically on Tuesday, and I was like, "There's no way Saints should be 5.5 point favorites."
I
Um,
don't see it either. I don't know why.
so I mean, I think the Giants win this game outright. I think score is going to be something like, especially if Chris Olave doesn't play, um, like 2017. So that would just barely hit the under. So I would probably, yeah, I'll probably say Giants plus 5.5 and the under.
What's your final score prediction? I guess
I'll make it a little bit more interesting than 2017. I'll say, hmm, 19-14 Giants.
33. Okay. Yep. That's the under. Um, man, I always like looking at unders and realizing AK just joined the PlayStation party. By the way, it's funny. I'm looking up at my screen. Um, I really hate looking at unders that low and taking the under. But since I'm not betting on the game, I'm gonna take the under here. I'm gonna
Yeah.
say bold prediction. Blake Groupie gets his first game-winning field goal. It's gonna be 16-17. 3 seconds left. Blake Groupie gets a 51-yarder to win 19-17. Saints don't cover, but I think they do win the game. Move on to 7-7, and then whatever the hell happens with the Falcons and the Bucks. Hopefully they lose, but the Panthers are not looking any good. So yeah, I think the Saints don't cover, but I do think they win, and they definitely hit the under because we can't score points.
Yeah. Yeah. I think my favorite bets are Giants plus 5.5 and the under this week. So
I don't think we're capable of beating a team with over 4 wins by more than 3 points. So, like, I think I was gonna say I think we're the only team with a 500 record, but we're not. We don't even have a 500 record to have like a positive point differential of less than 10. But it's insane. All right, Djax, I appreciate you joining me.
yeah, of
If you
course.
want to plug anything, go ahead.
Um, yeah, follow me on Twitter, Djax Sports. I would say TikTok, but I don't really post TikToks anymore. I'll get back to it at some point. During draft season, hit me up. Um, that's my big thing. So I'm watching tape right now, actually. Drop mock drafts every now and then on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter, and everything else will come after that.
All right, I'll put those links in the description. Again, thank you for joining me. I appreciate you helping me with this. Thank you all for watching. If you haven't already, make sure you drop a sub. We're on the road to 100. We're almost there. And drop a like on the video. And yeah, comment what you guys think. What's the score prediction? What do y'all guys think? Who's going to win? And yeah, see you guys soon. Peace.